one more win for my Philadelphia Eagles to finish the story. And I would not want it any other way. Just like Cody Rhodes did to Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 40, we ended a potential dynasty run when we got our revenge on the New England Patriots in Super Bowl 52, getting our revenge from that 24-21 loss in Super Bowl 39. Now, my team looks for revenge on what the Kansas City Chiefs did to us in Super Bowl 57. That phantom Odin call on James Bradbury that completely changed the game, that allowed the Chiefs to wind down the clock, kick the field goal, win the game 38-35 in an instant classic shootout. I told you guys going into this game, everybody liked the Commanders. They thought Jalen Hurts was hurt. They wanted to pick the Commanders. Was 6.5 points. They thought Jane Daniels, who undeniably did have the greatest rookie season for a quarterback ever, they thought they were going to go in and defeat the Eagles. The Commanders' defensive coordinator said that if Jalen Hurts was going to be a runner, they were going to hit Jalen Hurts. And all my Philadelphia Eagles did was on the first play of offense from the line of scrimmage, a toss to Saquon Barkley, going all the way 64 yards to the end zone. And from there, the Commanders sort of made it the ball game. A touchdown by Terry McLaurin at one point made it a 14-12 game. But my Eagles, with three peanut punches, forced three fumbles on the Commanders. They took all three of those fumbles, they cashed them in for touchdowns. Jalen Hurts once again proving that he can throw the football down the field when needed to. They got everybody involved yesterday, or excuse me, on Sunday, from A.J. Brown to Devontae Smith to Dallas Goedert to Saquon Barkley. Folks, it is what I have been saying since week 4, since my Eagles went to the bye week at 2-2. I said they are the best team in football. They are the best offensive line in football. And by the way, that was with Cam Jurgens, the starting center, having a bad back. He could not play in the first half. Landon Dickerson, who played center in Alabama, slid in at center. Then he had a knee injury. He had to go out. Cam Jurgens had to come back in at center in the second half. And with Tyler Steen, who I personally think is the best backup swing guard in the NFL, not a lot of people know about him. Under the tutelage of offensive line coach Jeff Stoutland, this Eagles offensive line did not miss a beat. So when you combine those skill position players with that offensive line, not to mention Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, Josh Sweat, Milton Williams, Nolan Smith at defensive line, Zach Bond, who was a special teamer, came to Philadelphia this year on a 1-year contract, all of a sudden became an all-pro linebacker. The additions of the secondary of bringing back C.J. Gardner-Johnson, the ability to draft Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean to completely change the defensive back room, along with bringing in Vic Fangio, the old school veteran, to coordinate my defense. The Eagles' defense went from third worst in the league last year that went to that epic supernatural funk collapse all the way to now being the NFC representative in the Super Bowl 2 out of the last 3 seasons. Got to give all the credit in the world to the Commanders. They had a great season. Jane Daniels was way better than even I had thought. I thought he was going to be very good. I thought he was going to be in the running potentially for Rookie of the Year with Caleb Williams in Chicago. he had the year that I thought Caleb Williams was actually going to have in Chicago. I did pick the Commanders to be a playoff team. I did not pick them to make the NFC Championship game. What a great story under first year head coach Dan Quinn. They were just not ready for the moment. On the AFC Championship side, I told you guys there was going to be rough controversy, and I told you guys it was going to come down to turnovers. And believe it or not, I said the only way for the Buffalo Bills to win this football game, A, they could not turn the football over. They did not do that. B, they had to create a turnover. Guess what? They did that. Guess what? They still lost. And I thought early Josh Allen was a little bit erratic. He missed some throws high. I'm guessing it was more nerves than anything. He obviously settled down in the second half, made some great throws, including the one to Mac Owens down in the goal line. Of course, he threw the one to Samuel for the touchdown to tie the game at 29. But I said it at the time, I thought the Buffalo Bills gave the Kansas City Chiefs too much time there when the game was tied at 29. Now, of course, the touchdown, or not the touchdown, I'm sorry, but the catch in question to Xavier Worthy, where, it was a tie with the defensive back and Worthy, and did the ball hit the ground? I thought there was not conclusive evidence the ball definitely hit the ground, and because the call obviously goes to the offense in a tie, I actually thought that was the right call. I know a lot of people are going to not be happy with my opinion on that. Now, the Josh Allen spot on the bobsled, as I like to call it, of course, in Philadelphia, we call it the church push, the brotherly shove. In Buffalo, they call it the bobsled with Josh Allen. The spot on that fourth down call was a bad spot. And that was the only missed call I thought of the game. I thought, if Buffalo got that first down, who knows what could have happened, right? Maybe they drive down, something happens, maybe they score. They're up one at that point, 22-21. Maybe they get a touchdown, maybe they go for two, maybe they get it, maybe it's a two-possession game, maybe the game is different. But the bottom line is the Chiefs have been to the Super Bowl now 5 out of the last 6 years. You can make an argument they are more dominant than the early 2000 New England Patriots run, especially the later New England Patriots run. Andy Reid will now coach, because of the Super Bowl, the most playoff games out of any coach in the history of the NFL. That includes Bill Belichick, that includes Don Shula. Patrick Mahomes already has the second most playoff wins of all time, with the win against the Bills on Sunday in the AFC Championship game. He surpassed Joe Montana and moved to the second place alone, only trailing Tom Brady. So yes, I get it. And I've always been the one to say that in the GOAT department, Super Bowl rings matter. Tom Brady has 7, Patrick Mahomes has 3. He's obviously looking for a fourth. Now, I obviously, as an Eagles fan, do not think this is going to happen. But if the Swifties and Kansas City Chiefs, if they do get a three-peat and a fourth Super Bowl ring, a three-peat is something Tom Brady never even had the chance of doing, because he never got back to the Super Bowl where he won twice and then got a chance to do a third. And if the Chiefs were to be able to pull that off, that is a notch in Mahomes' tool belt. For Buffalo, I get it. Everybody, including me, sort of thought with the losses of Stephon Diggs, with the losses of Gabe Davis, this could have been a down year for the Buffalo Bills. Yet, with Joe Brady calling the offense, Josh Allen, Shakir, Coleman, Samuel, they bring in Amari Cooper at the trade deadline, Dalton Kincaid, Dawson Knox, Josh Allen, who more than likely is probably going to win the MVP of the NFL. I'll be making my predictions on that on Thursday for the NFL awards since we're not going to have a game. I'll also go over the NFL coaching cycle. Um, I get it, but Buffalo just for whatever reason when they match up against Kansas City in the playoffs, there's just one play, one beat. Kansas City and their coaching, obviously Steve Spagnuolo, and bring the house, bring those blitzes, forcing Josh Allen to get rid of the ball quickly. The efficiency of the offense led by Andy Reid, Matt Nagy, Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelsey, who ended up only having two catches in the game. And yet, it is, in my opinion, the efficiency of the Kansas City Chiefs that bring them to another Super Bowl. In my opinion, I don't know if Buffalo, and again, I thought they were going to have a down year this year. I was very impressed by what they were able to do this year. But at some point, is Sean McDermott a Mark Jackson? Mark Jackson to Steve Kerr. Mark Jackson was a very good coach. Steve Kerr turned the Golden State Warriors into a dynasty. I thought they should have moved off Sean McDermott 2 years ago when they lost to the Cincinnati Bengals. Maybe with everything that went on with the Damar Hamlin situation that season, it would have been bad optics for Buffalo to get rid of Sean McDermott. But Joe Brady is going to be a head coach in this league pretty soon. I suspect it will not happen this year. I think it's going to happen next year. So if you're Buffalo, do you feel like you just need a little bit of an upgrade there at coach? Because for whatever reason, you cannot top Kansas City. And it would suck for Sean McDermott because Sean McDermott is one hell of a football coach, a very good football coach, a great culture builder. Josh Allen likes him. We know people around the league love Sean McDermott. But there is this mystique about Kansas City. Back to an NBA analogy, real quick. We saw this for years when it came to the Houston Rockets and the Golden State Warriors, where the Rockets arguably some years had a better team than Golden State. Golden State executed better down the stretch, and it felt like every year, right? It kept getting closer. Houston kept getting closer to Golden State. They would never get over the hump. And now Buffalo, you're still going to have to contend with Joe Burrow. You're still going to have to contend with Lamar Jackson. I think the Chargers are going to get better here year by year. So at some point, is Buffalo just going to have a San Francisco-esque collapse? I mean, that's my worry here with the Bills is they're going to be psychologically damaged at some point if they cannot get over the Kansas City hurdle. Next Thursday, when we officially preview and I make my picks and I give you my prop bets and all that for this game, I will tell you early on here the Philadelphia Eagles team, well, Kansas City's team, yes, Rashid Rice is out, but he wasn't on that team obviously 2 years ago. Travis Kelsey is a little bit older. I'll definitely make the argument their defense, though, is a lot more experienced than what it was 2 years ago. The defense is very similar to the team that Philadelphia beat last year on a Monday night prior to Thanksgiving. This Eagles defense, I talked about the transition from Sean Desai and Matt Patricia a year ago to Vic Fangio. This year to me is the biggest difference. Jalen Carter, a grown-up Jordan Davis, Nolan Smith, Milton Williams, Zach Bond, Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean. These are all guys who were either on the team and did not play at all. Some of them, of course, obviously in the case of Jordan Davis, or a Quinyon Mitchell or a Jalen Carter, a Zach Bond, who were either not even in the NFL yet or not on this team 2 years ago. And that to me is a big difference, along with obviously Saquon Barkley in the run game. And again, when you doubt Jalen Hurts' passing ability, going into the Pittsburgh Steelers game in week 15, remember A.J. Brown only had one catch for a couple yards against the Carolina Panthers, who nearly defeated the Philadelphia Eagles on that day in Philly. Um, Remember, everybody was doubting the passing game. Jalen Hurts came out the next week, played one of his best games of the season. I thought Sunday in the NFC Championship game, Jalen Hurts played his best game overall as a quarterback since Super Bowl 57 against Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. When, in my opinion, he outplayed Mahomes and the Chiefs, but the Chiefs made more plays in that game, whether it was on special teams, the punt return from Juju Smith-Schuster, obviously the return route by McCall Hardman. Kansas City just out-schemed Philadelphia in that game. Now, I don't think the officiating, again, I don't think that they purposely benefit Kansas City. I know America hates the Chiefs. I know they're tired of Patrick Mahomes. I know they're getting sick and tired of Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift, and everything. And I know everybody feels like the NFL and the red machine is behind them. I totally get that. Fun fact, by the way, Taylor Swift is a Philadelphia Eagles fan. She grew up an Eagles fan. Her emotions going to be compromised here in this game. I'm sorry, I have to point that out. But I do think it's just going to come down to execution. I think Philadelphia is going to have to win the turnover battle to win this game. I do. But I think their defense is a lot better. I'm leaning Philadelphia early. I think it's going to be a very similar score to Super Bowl 57. I'm going to say right now, I got a feeling it's like 31-27 Philly. Again, I'll give my official prediction next Thursday. Like that clip from the Brand Sports Podcast? If so, make sure you go down there and hit that subscribe button. While you're down there hitting the subscribe button, make sure to also hit the notification bell so you never miss another upload. And make sure you check out all the other clips from the Brand Sports Podcast right here on YouTube.